Hello, and welcome to Ask the Trade Pros. It's all your favorite show where a couple of trade guys ramble about stuff, particularly trade stuff. We're here to answer your questions about your HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and any other home system so you can keep that home running smoothly. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Todd.
We all love a good vacation. We like to leave, we just don't like to come back. Whether visiting friends and family, exploring a new city, or lounging by the beach, it's important to plan ahead before traveling so that your home stays safe.
Yeah, and as fun as it is to plan what sites to see, activities to do, it's also important to make sure that you're prepared on the home front while you're away. There's nothing quite like an emergency at your home when you're far away from home. So today, Jordan, let's talk about what we can do to make everyone's home vacation ready.
Absolutely. A couple of things to consider when you're going on vacation and you're prepping your home for that. There's a lot of systems to your home: inside, outside, water, electrical, irrigation, rain gutters. We'll talk about a few of those. The things I start with when I'm going on vacation, right, and how I'm prepping my home would be how long I'm going to go, right? A 3-day weekend vacation, you're going to have a whole different prep level than if you're going away for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, 6 months. And then the other thing would be the time of the year. Whether you're here in Tucson or somewhere else, time of the year matters, whether it's summer for us, winter for places with snow, fall seasons, all have different kind of preparations you want to take.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I guess the first big one here is heat, right? So the summertime, if you're planning on leaving, a lot of people tend to want to just
They flee like cockroaches in light.
Yeah, that's why we're famous for snowbirds, right? So talk about being here 6 months of the year and
Love
what
the
to do.
traffic in August, right?
Yeah, what to do for during those times of year. But if you're going to be gone during the summer and you do not want to shut your thermostat off, because especially a lot of people have artwork, which our extreme heats can get upwards of what without running your AC in the somewhere inside a house. 105, I've seen a couple. I don't even, maybe even hotter, depending on your insulation. So I would recommend at least putting your thermostat to 85, unless you want to come home and have your wood furniture warped or nice artwork ruined.
Yeah, it can ruin furniture, walls. A lot of the stuff in the home is pretty durable. It's just not meant to be 100 degrees. It will handle, like you said, Todd, handle 85, 90 degrees. I do the same thing. People ask me all the time. I never tell them to turn it off. I just tell them to turn it up.
Yeah, which leads us into the next thing. So if you're gone for an extended period during the summer, how do you know that your AC is running and it didn't break down? Which leads us into, smart systems, smart thermostats, something that you can monitor your HVAC equipment while you are gone and know, hey, I have a lot of expensive furniture, artwork, and you'll know that something's wrong with your system and you can get somebody over there quickly to fix it before it...
Yeah, it doesn't even need to be smart, just needs to be Wi-Fi. We get that all the time from homeowners that will call us and have us go service their house because the setting's 85, but it says 90 is the temperature reading. There's smart thermostats will do that. There's smart water devices, a bunch of other devices like that.
Speaking of smart water devices, let's talk about the next thing is going to be, do you shut off your water supply, drain the plumbing system prior to leaving on vacation?
Length of time matters a lot on that. If you're leaving for a weekend, you generally wouldn't need to. I mean, you might want to check some irrigation or some of those other devices on or off if you don't want them running when you're not there. But I wouldn't drain a water heater if I'm just going away for a couple of days. Now, a few weeks, whole different story, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would say if you're going to be leaving for any extended period of time, probably a good idea, especially if you have an older house, shut the water off, or if you have a smart water monitoring system, a flow-by mowing, or any of the other water monitoring leak detection devices, probably be a good idea to shut that water off if it's going to be wintertime. And again, depending on what type of pipes you have, shut the water off. You don't want frozen or burst pipes. And when you do that,
you need to drain them too, though.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah, exactly. If you do shut it off, shut the water off at the main, then go open your faucets to let that water drain out.
You're not going to tell them about an electric water bomb, Todd? How many customers we have that shut the water off on their electric water heater and then it blows up because it runs without water in it?
Well, no, I was going to let that happen. Remember, we are in the business of replacing water heaters, so we can't give too many tips and tricks because then we're going to put ourselves out of work.
So what we're alluding to, one of the issues with water heaters is if you shut the water off, the heating elements inside them, specifically electric, are worse than gas, but the heating elements inside them will boil off the water or drain the water off sometimes as the water goes away, and then they will actually blow up the device. They'll cause it to crack or they'll cause it to pop open. We see it a lot in electric water heaters when people fail to turn them off and are gone for a long time, or drain the water out of them, use the water up in them, and then they just fail.
Yeah, so electric specifically, normally there's a, depending on size, a upper and a lower heating element. Upper element's typically within, a foot of that top of that tank, so it won't take long for it to start draining down, burn out the upper element. Gas, you want to shut off as well, because you don't want to constantly be heating that water and the only water that's in that tank if you're going to be gone for an extended period.
Yeah, this is why we love tankless water heaters, right? No issues with them. So let's talk a little bit about, we're talking a little about inside the house, setting the thermostat, making sure, so that you have a little bit of cooling, adjusting the water. Some of your traps might dry out, stuff like that. That's not a big deal. You can just add water to them when you come back. They'll just might be a smell in your house. You can prep the traps if you want with a little bit of, they have bio pills you can put in them that help alleviate some of the buildup. You can put vinegar if you want. I don't like the smell of vinegar, so I don't really like that treatment, but that would treat the inside of the house. Now on the outside of the house, there's some other things they really need to do, right, Todd?
Yeah, and yes, there is. And I would say even on the inside, if you're going to shut off the water to your house, and if you have irrigation stuff that's dependent on water, make sure your irrigation is tied in prior to your home shutoff valve. Otherwise, you're going to be gone and return, and you're not going to have any vegetation or landscape plants left.
It's a good point, Todd. Most standard irrigation does break off from the main prior to the shutoff, but there's a few rigged systems, or we'll call them less than professional setups, where they put it after the main shutoff, and it'll be shut off when you kill your whole water house. So you do have to be aware of that.
Yeah, and outside we have monsoon season, right? So that's a couple months out of the year we can get heavy rains, heavy downpours that could potentially, if you don't have your gutter system cleaned, could cause damage to your roof, could overflow fountains if you have fountains, could make a mess of your pool if it's not treated.
You want good drainage away from your house. Most people know if their house drains, but if you've had tree buildup or leaf buildup or something over the course of the year and you haven't cleared it away, you don't have landscapers, you probably want to get that done before you go. Obviously, if you have those problems and something happens while you're here, you can get to it real quick, or you could adjust it, or it might be a minor problem. It's a minor problem one day and then you can get to fixing it. But if you're gone for weeks at a time, it rains and then it rains again and then it builds up again, and then you have dirt everywhere, you have debris everywhere, you have damage to your house from what was a minor problem to a major problem. You might want to clean the vegetation up around your house. You don't know, our monsoon storms have heavy wind. They might knock things over, break leaves off that are normally sit there. That's always a good thing to do. We're not in the restoration business. We do plumbing, electrical, and AC, but we see in the summer tons of house damage from fallen tree limbs, falls on your roof, breaks your roof, but like Todd said, clogged gutters, uncleared debris and brush around your house during the monsoon season, floods up against it.
Yeah, one thing we haven't talked about is the electrical parts of your house, unplugging devices that pull power, whether or not you're using it, which is most devices now, right, are using some sort of power, whether it's shut off or not. So
everything uses power now.
Depending on the length of time, you might want to unplug your computers, televisions.
A lot of those devices will have a shutoff. You probably have them on a surge device. So if you have one of those, they might have a shutoff button. Makes it really simple. One switch shuts them all off. But like Todd said, your major appliances, if you don't have whole home surge protector or something like that, but yeah, you might want to plug your washer, your dryer, some of those major devices. They do have electronic components to them now.
Yeah. Unplug everything but the refrigerator. Especially if you're going to leave food in there.
Don't unplug the AC.
Yeah. you don't want to come home to a smelly house. I guess one final step, now that we touched on exterior, interior, plumbing, electrical, heat, monsoons, I guess the final thing would be is know your neighbors as well. If you have a relationship with any of your neighbors. And
who talks to their neighbors anymore, Todd?
Well, it's fairly uncommon now. I know that I talk to one or two, but that's about it.
You read all their next door posts, but you don't talk to them.
Yeah, exactly. But if you do know a neighbor and you are going to be gone, it's nice to know somebody that every once in a while can come check on the house, make sure it's still there, make sure it hasn't been broken into.
We get calls all the time from neighbors noticing things and told the homeowner who's out of town.
Yeah, water leaks especially.
Water leaks, even damage and stuff, roof damage, debris falling, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's always the phone call you want when you're trying to enjoy a vacation, right? Hey, your roof blew off.
Pass me another margarita.
Yeah. I'll drink to that.
It's always 5 o'clock summer, right?
Yeah, so if you're planning a long trip and need help getting your home ready for that trip, if you're not around and something happens, always contact your local trusted trade pro for help.
That's the other thing you forgot to mention, Todd. We've talked about it in previous episodes, have a contact number before you're away, not trying to figure out why you're on the trip. So
Planning and preparation.
yeah,
There you go.
know your local guy, and have your neighbor or your family or whoever's watching the home for you know them too.
Yeah, who to contact in case of emergency. Done Right Services. 520-369-3966.
This is that sponsor suck up.
Thank you for listening to Ask the Trade Pros. We release new episodes every other Tuesday, so be sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. If you have a question you would like us to answer on the show, please leave us a voicemail or an email, and we may feature your question in an upcoming episode. That information is in the show notes. This podcast is sponsored by the good folks at Done Right Services. As always, thank you for your support.